is first one, number one, the project update and discussion of 201 First Avenue. If anybody didn't review all this stuff, looks like they appealed, did not win their appeal on anything. And basically they gave until November 1st, Kevin, or we can do whatever we wanna do, which is coming, or about ready to come due here.
Correct.
So now this would be your time to plead why we should not go ahead and kill it on November
If you're-
1st.
Okay,
Listening?
Mike and I have been working together on this and trying to get things going. I've kind of taken over the project. They were completely overwhelmed with everything as far as what to get done, they've been taken by 2 different contractors, some other stuff. I have in my possession here, if everybody knows how that building is sitting, the south end of that building needs to be tore down. We have a signed contract here from Matt Sminky. I'm sorry that's happening. Go shut it off.
So the southern portion he's talking about is the southern half of the 1-story section.
Right.
A portion of the 1-story would still remain.
We have a signed contract and Matt Sminky has approved it for $25,000 to tear off that south half. The only thing that's holding it, is Matt's time to get there. The other part is we have to get Andrew to get it. There's some cars and stuff in there we got to get out, and that is the first thing. The second area that's really bad that Blake is concerned about would be the side of Kirkwood parking lot. And there's the wall. One part of it will be in that south building that's going to be tore down. The worst part of it is. The other part was damaged in the derecho, and they really never did anything with it. So they put up a plywood wall there and stuff. Starting this morning, we started grinding out the wall, the block wall that's remaining there. Took out the bad block and talked to Blake about that some of the block just have holes in where they had pipes going through and stuff that we can patch them. And we're going to fill all the cylinders full of grout so that it makes it a strong wall. And then I've hired Tom. His name now. Anyway, block bricklayer. He can lay that stuff a lot faster than I can, so he's going to lay from there clear over to the big building, and there'll be a doorway there for a garage door that will go into that area. Then have in that proposal, Matt Sminky there's cement back there and stuff that's up on top there. It's all busted up and stuff. He's going to tear all that out, and when he does that, he'll tear out the footings that are there for the part of the block wall that's fallen down. And then we'll put new footings in there if we have to, and then God, I can't think of his name. Tom. Anyway, he'll lay the block to go over, and we'll put a steel lintel in there and everything so the door's done right and everything like that. Matt's going to start on that Monday morning, tearing that stuff out, and I'm going to be tuck pointing that one part, laying block on top to make a top parapet wall for that section that we're going to do, and then Tom will come in and lay the rest of the block to that height. I have another signed contract here for $46,550. Roger Rouse is going to put a roof on the section that we talked about in the center there. We talked to Blake about doing different things there. Right now there's some steel trusses in there that were damaged by the storm, and we're going to cut those off, take them back, and I don't know if you had time to look up what we have to do as far as our span and stuff like that. 2-foot span with wood on each side of the ones that are there with a plywood center in it that will PL 200 and then bolt together down through the deal and make trusses across there. then Roger will put plywood, foam, and then a rubber roof on top of it. That's all in the works. That's why we're building the wall now, so all this stuff can be done. And the other contract I have is just my contract that I have with her. That's a signed contract that I started probably almost a month now. We redid the corner up in the front there. Be the south east corner was all damaged and stuff from when the buildings were torn down and stuff. So we reblocked all that, filled all the cylinders full of cement, and then we just bricked it this week. It's done. It's just there's no way that we can get everything done by November 1st, and there's no way Matt feels he can get there sometime in January to maybe December, depending on how the weather is and stuff. He's probably going to keep doing septics and stuff till he can't. The weather holds him back to not do them anymore. That gives Andrew Schatz time to get his stuff out of there so we can get it tore down. I understand, what's going on here as far as I don't know. I wasn't involved in the legal parts of it and everything like that. I've been told, Melissa and I talked, that there's a judge involved now, and your attorney would have to go get that November 1st date changed if he could. And I think with the signed contracts and the deal, that I would hope that you would consider very highly to let them finish doing their building.
So to understand that if we want to grant this, we can't actually grant it.
No, we
We can only go request that they extend it.
How long does that take? Because it is the 10th of October.
Well, I mean, the court order doesn't say we shall go abate. It says we may. So if you decide that you would like to offer them an extension, come November 1st, there's nothing that's obligating us to go in and do anything at that time. It's just then the ball's in our court if we choose to do something. How long it would take, it depends on the judge we get, but from when our attorney filed, from when he drafts the request of modification to filing, a week maybe.
And I don't know if I guess if we feel that she jumped the gun or what by doing the work we've done already, but she's already put quite a bit of money into it. Now we're still, we're going ahead thinking that you're, hoping that you guys will see that we're doing this work, have signed contracts, that we are serious about getting it done and doing it right. So I understand that you've been told stuff before, but when she lost her husband, she lost about everything, I think, pretty much. And she's a very emotional person, and they were just completely overwhelmed on getting somebody to take over the deal and run it, and so I kind of took that part over and have organized the contractors and get everything. We have a plan, and Blake's helped us with the plan, so we've got a lot of we did a deal in the basement where there's a chute that goes, I don't know if it's a coal chute or what the heck it was, in the back there that went underneath there. We blocked that up, and so that reinforced all this stuff down there in the basement as far as that entrance. And it's just they want to do it, and we have a plan now to do it, and Blake's pretty much approved everything that we've talked about. And so I just hope that you'll see, maybe in your heart.
Hearts and facts. Blake, how do you feel about it?
So obviously the city's been telling them for a long time to do what is currently happening. And as I say to everybody, all it takes is time and money. And they unfortunately have just wasted all of their time. It's unfortunate that the current progress and crew over there now didn't get pulled in from the very beginning of me starting this process, because they'd probably be almost done now. But like Kevin says, they are making a lot of progress over there. There's more that's happened over there in the last month than has happened in the last 10 years.
That is true.
So I have a list of things I think should accompany as part of the agenda for the next council meeting where this decision is made. And I mean, I just bring the project to you, you guys decide what to do with it. So some of the things that I think need to be part of that decision-making process, come the 24th, there needs to be an itemized list of work that's been completed to that date, the total cost of the work that's been completed, what work will remain to bring the entire property into compliance with the city's requirements, the schedule for the remaining work, benchmarks, that sort of thing, any other contracts for what's remaining, estimated future costs. So estimated costs for
Why is it your business what it costs to have it done?
to see that there is a plan, a true plan in
The
place.
plan is the plan. It doesn't involve you as far as money
Because
in any way.
if the
I mean,
estimate,
we've already been told that there's 4, 5, 6 people that are already ready to buy the place.
I don't want to argue about it, Kevin. What if you guys sit down, figure out the estimated cost of total completion, and it's $1 million, and Peggy maybe doesn't have $1 million? Is she going to want to continue if that's what the estimated final cost is?
All we're working at getting done right now is getting it off the condemned deal.
Right, but you still have the whole 2-story section to get into before everything's off the condemned deal.
What's wrong with the big building?
Well, like you just said,
Windows?
the windows.
But that has nothing to do with
Windows,
structure.
there's tuck pointing to be done, there's that door on the west side, and there's stuff to be done over there. I'm
I
just
agree.
saying, an estimated cost would be helpful for Peggy if she's gonna be the one who finances this. I'm not gonna build a house if I don't know how much it's gonna cost me in the end.
And do you, I mean, I can't foresee that. We don't have a clue. If that was true, there'd be a big contractor there doing it.
Like I'm saying, this is just things I think should be part of that decision-making process.
Where was this when we were talking yesterday and the day before?
Kevin, it seems like a practical thing to have for a project of this, an end cost. Nobody's gonna get into anything if they don't have an idea.
That's none of your business.
Okay, fine. Like I said, these are just things I feel like should be seen for them to make an educated decision on this.
So then, every project that comes out from now on, you're gonna have everybody give you a list of what it's gonna cost.
This is not every project in town. This project has been an issue for the city for over a decade and has been in the courts with an order for the city to
I
go in and
understand
demolish it. This is not a normal project.
Okay, does anyone up here, out of the list that Blake read off, is there anything anybody wants to add to the list of information you'd like before we make a decision?
I have more to my list.
You have more?
Yes.
Okay.
Like you said, Andrew needs to get the southern portion emptied out. Like to have maybe an idea of when he'll be able to do that. We talked about the wall that we exposed. That won't be an issue. Any information Peggy has about the windows would be helpful. And the two bay garage door, what the plans are for that. That's all my list is.
So I thought,
We've talked
In their
how many
judgment-
times and none of this come up.
I would say most of this is pretty standard project stuff.
so I thought in this judgment, they said the windows didn't count since they put the plexiglass.
The last contractor that was on the historical deal took their windows, overcharged her, and he hasn't given them back, hasn't given back to her yet.
I think that's.
He's holding them hostage.
So that's a whole mess. And I'm gonna get Kevin in touch with the historic preservation people so he can speak to them and get the real truth about what is allowable for replacements.
I talked to her today about it, and she's willing to listen, so.
Okay, excellent. The windows do not meet building code as a permanent solution. If they want it to be an occupiable building, they need to meet building code.
When they decide to make it an occupiable building, that I get. But for the moment, the windows don't have to be done because they're not going for an occupancy, right?
Right, but it is currently on the condemned status because it is an unoccupiable building. So until those windows are on, it will not come off of that.
So the list is the windows, the back wall, the structure that's coming down, the 4 or 5 things that we've talked about in the past, the things that you're mostly addressing. You haven't brought up the windows yet. That's going to be
No,
another big.
well, the windows are not,
Yeah, not the
Yes,
top of the
we're
hill.
doing structures.
which a ton of the issues are going to be taken care of by the demolition of that southern
It is,
building.
and that's going to be a splendid improvement. Splendid indeed. I don't think we're gonna get a absolute for sure timeline for everything. The windows, I don't know if you would be able
I
to.
don't know what a plan, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm trying to get her to, after we talked yesterday, and Blake and I talked, I'm trying to get her to think about other options that could still stay in the historical level.
Yeah.
She's
If-
trying to get tax credits
I-
so she can help
I
pay for
assume
it
we're
with
gonna be very receptive if we see the building coming down the back wall, structurally sound, the roof get put on, those things that you're listing. Huge improvements, huge improvements. That sounds wonderful.
but where we're at right now is, you know, all this stuff's scheduled. If you decide to not
Right.
not do it in November, we won't be done by November 1st.
But ultimately, it's not our decision. Remember that. We
make
can only
recommendations,
request
but
that the
it's up to the
court
judge.
extend that time. And the court makes the final decision.
But like Blake said, it would be our decision to take action
Yes.
after November 1st. So we have a couple new council members. And as Kevin has said and Blake has verified, there's a lot of work that needs to be done to bring the building. Basically, right now, the main focus is getting it out of the condemned condition. I agree with Kevin. I don't think money is any of our business. And I agree with Kevin, if we start that, we're gonna need to require it from everybody. If they're doing the work, then that becomes between them and Peggy for getting their monetary payments. But if they're doing the work, that's the step that needed to be taken. The stipulation I would like to put, if we can, would be that Andrew has to start getting those vehicles out by November 15th.
As weird as it sounds to everybody, I'm sure, that
He-
might be the toughest part of it.
That is gonna be the toughest
Well,
one.
I talked to him yesterday, and he has a plan. Actually, he's gonna cut off those, all the trusses in that one area are bent from the storm. He's gonna cut those off for us, get them straight, and then the next plan is for him to start on that, garage area that's gonna be torn down. And hopefully he'll have that done, we're hoping cause, Matt can't get there till December anyway.
Yeah.
So,
If you're looking at the exterior of that portion that has to come down, you wouldn't believe it, but there's probably 16 cars
Oh, there's
more and 1,000 bicycles.
probably only 7 cars in there.
It's not quite as many cars, but it is packed.
Like they're
Absolutely.
nose to nose and haven't moved,
It's gonna
haven't
be a
been touched.
huge effort to get that emptied out.
That's going to be the biggest part.
It
And if
really is.
he doesn't start making an
None of
effort
this,
by
none of this other
November,
stuff happens. I mean,
mid-November.
I agree. I mean, he's promised to, I mean, I
That's-
told him
that's
after
gonna
we
show us a
talked,
lot as a council.
I understand, but after we talked,
Yeah.
I called him and I said, the biggest issue is you getting those cars out of there. Because we have to have a date that we can probably start demoing this part. And, he said, yeah, I understand. I said, right now, the ball's in your court.
Yep.
You're holding it up.
Yep.
But Matt can't get there immediately anyway.
No.
but-
Right,
That's right.
but if he hasn't even started by December
Right.
1st, we know there's a problem.
Right.
And at that
And he
point,
swears that he's gonna get on it, and he told me yesterday that he'll get that stuff out of there, so.
Yeah.
So
I
right
hope-
now, what you told us so far, you've probably got $100,000 to $150,000 just in contracts and your fees alone,
Probably, somewhere in there.
give or take. What it is, and that's a reasonable estimate for work that's
When
occurred and coming up in the
When
near
these
future.
contracts are signed, she signed them, all of them, and, Matt's Monday morning is gonna start doing that, tear out on that, stuff over there. I guess what I'm scared about is this, they do all this work and then if the court says November 1st, you're done, so you're gonna take it back?
Again, I don't like.
We're not taking it at all. We would just demolish what needs to be demolished, and they'd be left with the 2-story section.
And who owns it then?
They still do.
Or they'd still?
Yeah, we have no interest in taking
We're
that
just
property.
doing we would just be allowed to do abatement procedures.
What needs to be done to get
So
it.
just be a
We
very.
don't wanna come in and do
So
anything.
basically, you're doing what we're gonna do, you would be
Yes.
doing.
And then it would just be as a tax lien on the property.
Right to you.
Well, right now, she's willing to get it done.
Right.
But when he says, they do all this work, I mean, best case scenario, you guys agree to an extension, the court agrees, it gets fixed. Worst case scenario, you agree, courts agree, they go ahead and put even more money into it, and then it stops. And it just sits. Will council have the stomach to re-engage with the demolition of a property that now has probably 4 times the amount of money into it than it does currently?
So my thought is, if they continue on with these signed contracts, it's gonna be done, right?
Well,
yeah, but they're gonna get to a stopping point
Yeah.
until those cars are moved.
The only
Well,
thing,
no.
other problem we have is of course winter. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of the tuck point stuff that's gonna be held up, cause you can't do it in the winter.
yeah.
And that's where, even in November, you can't. I mean, sometimes you can do it, sometimes you can't.
And we're also gonna have to look at how much of a extension are we going to request?
Well, and that's
if we
the other
do
thing I'd like, I don't know that a year, if you're waiting on those windows and everything, I would think so we don't have to go back through this again right away, a year would be a deal that would be, I think, smart in the aspect of, we're not gonna have to address it again for a year, and then I would probably be with you to say if they drop the ball, it's their fault. I mean, cause we're committed, I'm committed to this building. And so are these other guys. I mean, Matt Smickey, he's committed to doing his part. Roger Rouse is committed to doing his part. And, we're,
So once that roof's on, it's sealed up now, right?
Yeah, once that roof's on, it'll be sealed up.
yeah.
What he's talking
Well-
about is weather tight.
Roof
What you're talking about
on.
is weather
There's quite a bit of
It'll be a
work
brand new
that'll have
roof. I mean,
to happen on that. What will be the new exterior wall on the south side?
Garage
Once-
door.
There's a bunch of openings in that. A lot of brickwork and tuck point that needs to be done there too.
Yeah.
But yes, it will be mostly sealed up.
What's Roger's time frame on that?
excuse me?
What's Roger's time frame on that?
Well, we have to build, the part that we started today, we ground it out, we have to put some block in it, lay some block on the top to raise the parapet wall. And then, so we're looking at probably a week, and then probably the next week, the block layer will come in and block that other part up, and then Roger will start right after that. He's actually gonna come, I think tomorrow or this weekend, and rip off a section so that we can, get to those purlins that or girts that are in there, so we can cut them off straight and get, so we can attach the rest of the trusses to it, so. mean, I understand completely where you're at as far as the, you know, they fiddle-dinked around and,
Well, we always told them they were over their head.
huh?
And we always told them they were over their head and they need to get professionals involved.
Right.
I told, what's his first name?
Andrew,
No, the other one.
Joe.
Joe, told him that from day one.
Right,
And I hated to sit there and talk to him, but you need to get professionals involved.
right.
And they just didn't wanna do it, and finally, they had to. Unfortunately, like Blake says, they waited till the 11th hour and were on the
I
1
understand.
yard line and going for the goal and.
Well, I don't think
Oh,
she-
hey Kevin, come in and
I
say.
don't think she had the money then either. I don't know. It's not my business where she got her money to do it. I've heard different things, but, it's not my place to tell you, anybody, what she told me about how she got her money, so.
And that I have to agree with Tammy. I don't know, it's my business where she got the money. You gave him a number, and as long as you're getting paid, and as soon as you don't get paid, you're stopping.
Well, there's just so many different projects that are there to, you know, I mean, and there's so many variables. I mean, just like we started out on that one corner and it turned into a nightmare. It was all rotten. We had to tear that thing clear back to solid stuff. Heck, we took out twice what we were gonna take out, you know, and now it's all brand new and looks great, you know.
The work that's been done looks
Mhm.
very good. There's a lot of variables that that comes down that wall. Who knows what's going to happen to that existing wall? How bad a shape it's going to be in by the time all that gets torn down. But
So I would be fine with requesting the extension. My request though with that extension is that we are getting consistent updates about what's occurring. Because
I have been.
Yep,
I-
Oh yeah, no, as long as we get that going forward so we can keep on track.
I've
of
called
where
Blake
we're
on
at.
everything that
and if,
every step we've done.
and if we go that route, I believe that modification will have language about scheduled case conference meetings, so that we will have court dates that say this is what's being done, it's going to continue, that way there's still
I
the
agree.
pressure of the courts on this project.
I agree. But everybody understands winter's coming, you know, I mean, we can only do, I mean, if it turns, we have a good winter like we've had before. Heck, last year I painted right before Christmas, I painted the dang, Farmers Savings Bank wall out there. I mean, it was, what, 60-some degrees that one day, and we painted that wall, you know, I mean, the weather's good, we keep going, but, you know, it's just what it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just glad progress is being made finally.
And it's committed. I mean, she is committed to get it done. She's happy. She's seen things that finally something's getting done to it, you know, and they've been not only tricked, but abused by other contractors, and she's overwhelmed completely. She's been overwhelmed since like you said, they were overwhelmed when they started. But I don't think they had the know-how or the money maybe at the time to really do it. I know that she's committed to doing it now, and I think she's probably getting into her retirement pretty heavy. I don't know that, but I don't know. And it's not my business to know. You know, as long as she keeps paying me, I'm happy.
That's what it comes down to. I don't know, I think the general consensus is that, you know, we'll probably put it on the next council meeting. Blake will have his list there. If he amends it at all, I don't know, but, we'll,
So we're gonna amend that list a little bit.
It's up to them,
Huh?
it's up to them.
I mean, I honestly don't feel that it's anybody's business
we
what,
amend it, we'll
what
amend
a
it at the
contractor and
council
a business person have
Yeah.
together.
Tonight was just to learn about what's going on and to hear from you so we could ask questions. We can't officially do anything tonight,
Understand.
so it'll be next.
I apologize for getting a little wound up there, but I mean, we've had meetings and you never said anything about some of this stuff, so. I just don't like walking in somewhere when my back's against the wall.
well, understand though that we have been a little gun shy for.
And I understand that, and I understand completely that also, so.
Right, and I get it, it's all well and good that as long as you're getting paid, it's great, and as soon as you stop being paid, you stop working, but then it becomes my problem. It becomes a big workload for me again, and I don't want that to happen.
I guess you'd have to do your job.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I understand completely.
Yeah. So I think we'll discuss the next council meeting, but I assume the general consensus that we'll probably go ahead and request for the extension or whatever we gotta do.
Some sort of extension.
Some sort of extension, yeah.
Great.
And what the court decides will be what the court decides. So,
Yeah. I mean, as long
do
as
you
you
have
guys,
copies of all that stuff? Cause I
I
assume they're
don't,
gonna
I
come
can
back.
make, I can have some made drop them off. I mean, these actually have money on them too, so, what the amount is for doing the work, so.
Yeah, but he'll probably want that if we gotta go to court and request that, they'll probably wanna see something to that.
That's
effect.
why I gotta make sure we had them for this meeting today, was to be able to show you that they're signed and they're ready to, we're ready to start working on it, so. Keep working on it, I should say.
So what's the number one job for your homework, I would say? What's your number one job for your homework, I would say, what is it?
For homework.
What's the first thing? Get Andrew on that, clean out the
Get
Go
the
get
stuff
the
out.
cars out of there.
cars.
Or line up a scrap metal guy to come get everything.
I mean,
if he's not
as
gonna do
funny
it.
as it is, it's, gosh, I hope
I
that.
think, wasn't Chris telling me that some of those cars are worth something?
They are. How many?
He was telling me
good
yesterday, Blake said there were like
Yeah.
$100,000 worth of cars in there. or
Yeah,
Really?
there is.
Collector's items, except for maybe that minivan.
Well, the Toyota Supra, the Celica Supras are worth quite a bit.
I didn't realize they were worth any value.
Yeah,
He said
those
yesterday.
things. The
I'm like,
Coupes are-
really?
Yes.
It blew my mind.
So he's gonna sell them and pay for all these renovations?
No way.
No way.
No way.
Mm,
I don't know.
We don't care.
Maybe I need to own a Celica. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know the people to call.
So,
That'd look good.
Must have
Sell something to the
what am
mayor.
I on the list for? Round two.
It's on there, we have,
They're,
Probably
they're
towards
worth
the
some
end.
money.
Yeah,
Usually
towards
do
the
the
end.
events
Yeah.
at the end.
I don't think so.
Item J. You're towards the end, but the
So what time
Celica
we
business will
talking here?
fly.
Gen 1,
Fairly
Gen
quickly.
2, the Mark 1, Mark 2s, or
7:30?
Mark 4s are the really
Seven.
expensive
7:15.
ones.
Okay. I'll be here at 7.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin.
All right, moving on to item D, discussion of Benton Code Chapter 55, animal protection and control. So the chief, did you always send that to you?
No, I got the email.
You guys got it too? Okay.
Yeah.
He asked me to forward it out. I didn't print copies. Does anybody want a printed copy?
So the discussion is, one of them, they all quit collecting dogs because we didn't have a place to put them. I think that was kind of what started it, and then one of our council members said they got attacked. So we're trying to figure out how that happens or how we can remedy all that. The email from Chief said something about you looked at a portable building or something that we could possibly put out there, or
Yeah, I've been looking at some portable buildings. Haven't looked too hard at them right now, Mayor, Council, but I'm just trying to think of a good location, possibly on the wastewater treatment plant site, an area where it's not going to be affecting any kind of construction. I believe to the south.
well, absolutely the south, since they told me that wasn't part of their construction site, so they can't be down there anyhow. So,
Correct.
sounds like a great spot for it.
Is what I've been thinking about here as far as portable building for just temporary holding for these dogs, for the dogs that are loose. Now for cats, we don't do anything about cats. Haven't.
So how big a building do you need?
Well,
Anybody?
U-shed size.
What's that?
Probably no bigger than a typical U-shed.
or
At most, fit one
kind of
or
like
two
the same size what we have there on Third and Third at the community garden.
Can we empty that out, put the dogs in that?
No, because your gardeners use the shed.
Big thing is temperature control, keeping them cool in the summer,
Might need
warm in the winter.
Just a thought.
And I'm completely unaware of any, I have not been keeping up on our dog protocol. How many dogs roughly a month, a week, roughly.
The last 2 years, we averaged 10 to 15 a month. Dog
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're posted all the time in
All
like
the
various
time.
Facebook pages.
Mhm.
I pulled the numbers. I mean, I had a stack like this for the last 2 years of calls for service. And they don't always generate a call for service. Sometimes the people get the dog before we have a chance, to even have to generate a call for service. But the ones that we have generated is 10 to 15 annually, or per month.
And you just throw them in the same garage.
Did.
It's not pens or keep them separate. It's just
We have there's just two basically metal air crates that we were donated by Humane Society that we have out there.
Okay.
And that's where we put them.
I find it almost impossible that we don't have a garage or a room that we can't. The city doesn't.
What about the old dog pound?
The city doesn't
We
own.
don't own that anymore.
We
But
don't
Who
have
we-
that.
does?
But
Maybe we should own it.
Vets.
you may want to.
Vets.
Not me personally,
The county does.
my department.
Okay. Well, can we use that?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Give you $100 a
I
month.
don't think it has kennels in it anymore.
No, it does not.
It's been,
No,
it's
But
been
it's temperature control,
renovated.
we can, if it was a dog pound, let's stick some dogs back there.
It's
I will tell you
Isn't that what
this.
VW?
The city may have the option to purchase it.
For $1?
For a dollar?
No, I don't.
Absolutely.
I just hate the idea of spending. I mean, I assume we're gonna have to buy a
Well,
portable building and have power hooked up to it and air conditioning and.
But I mean, that's my kind of question I've had with Chief is where does our liability stop with a person's
Well,
dog?
that's my question
And
is how
sometimes
did-
dogs are like people's. Sorry, but
No, sorry, I cut you off. You-
sometimes dogs are like people's children in their minds.
Oh,
you know,
very much.
And I don't want to take their dog and go put it in a building like a U shed on an August day, 100 degrees, and it.
And we're not gonna do that.
No, I know. That's what I mean. That's why we're talking the temperature control.
But even if
So I guess how did we get to this point where it's the police's responsibility to take care of other people's animals? Because
Well-
as one of those people whose dogs are my absolute world, they are never away from me outdoors. They are right next to me at all times and have never escaped me.
well,
I mean, the adage is that it's a service that we provide.
and if I may, animal control is under public safety, under the budget form, under the state form, and that's where that's usually billed out of. So along with ambulance or police, fire department, there's also animal control as well.
So,
and that's a chart of accounts.
And you are the exception to the rule. You realize that, don't you?
I just your animal
You're a very
bylaw is
mindful
your
dog
property,
owner.
and you
That's
should
not
be
true
able
for
to
me.
contain your property.
I
If you're going to
understand.
own it, you should be able to contain it. It's like when your cows get out; it's
They
your
should teach
responsibility to
people
get the
that.
cows back.
Yes.
Yes.
so,
Not running the snacks.
we are currently not. We can't use it currently because it's under construction.
Correct.
Can't get there, and that's going to be for roughly how long?
Well,
Roughly.
construction ends
Next fall.
next fall.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's going to
And
be a while.
then it'll be
Give me a while.
But that doesn't mean some of it might become accessible.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
So,
But maybe we ought to find it something, a more permanent solution rather than,
oh, I see what you're saying. We don't. Okay.
Our plan was when we had the new building, we were going to put a kennel run out back, and that was going to take care of all of our problems with that.
And that's still a possibility.
It's just like, sometimes when I was working patrol still on nights, I couldn't pick up a dog because I had Gina with me, so that I couldn't pick up dogs in my squad car. But big thing is repeat offenders too. We do have a lot of dogs, or repeat offenders that just like to run huskies, but we also have a lot of negligent dog owners. And our intentions on the whole Facebook post wasn't to rile people up or upset people. It was just that at that time we had nowhere to
Stay in the
take
back.
them, and our officers can't sit on a dog when there might be the only officer on duty. So that was our problem.
So we got to put on our thinking hats.
That's even a little shed out of the dump.
That's
it's-
pretty
Oh.
little.
Okay, so here's my question. So
so
Since that's on the
texting
budget.
people, see if we can buy that.
Yeah,
building.
not very much is on.
Well,
no, but since that's on our budget, it's our
Just
responsibility
so
to
that
make sure that dogs
you
get
understand what's
contained
going
when they
on.
run.
The conservation
Well,
board is trying to get it.
I'm
gonna-
Don't necessarily fit.
I'm going to say
our
what I
mission
said.
and our
when I first started here.
Whether or
Animal
not
control.
we are able
Animal
to
control is
sell
like
that
indoor
one
plumbing.
or not is kind of still up in the air. We're
It
still
is
working
like
with the
indoor
county
plumbing.
attorney on it.
You could build a house
Oh.
without indoor plumbing, but it wouldn't be
I
very desirable.
am, if
So having
you
a
guys are
community
interested,
with
working
animal
on
control
getting
or without it would not
this
be
put
very
on
desirable.
the agenda.
Cool, are we finding
We're only
people that are
interested in
dogs are
renting
getting out?
it.
No, I
That's the other half.
well,
Yeah,
I'm,
let's just talk about that when she's done.
I'm potentially, what I'm potentially doing is getting it on our agenda for Monday night, so that the conservation board could approve even temporarily for the Benton Police Department to hold dogs out.
I love that. Is there
That would
still
be
power to it, you know?
Yes,
Well, then, that's great.
I believe so.
So on the aspect of finding, and I don't, off the top of my head, I can't remember dollar figures. But in the past, when we write a dog at large ticket, it would end up costing the city more money,
Mm-hmm.
substantially more money than the assessed fine a judge would place on a dog owner. Sometimes
We have that
200 plus.
happen.
that it would cost the city
Yeah.
over
Think about
what
the
the assessed
resources
value.
though that we're using,
Well-
containing other people's pets.
Well, that goes into every citation you write
That's,
also.
yes, exactly.
And Blake
Would they
participated in
pay
this
'em?
brief.
Do they pay them?
Would they, do you think they would pay him if you?
They do pay them, but the fine is $100, the attorney's time is $300, the cop's
That's not
time
worth
is
it.
X.
Yep,
The
overtime for
Tennille's time for posting on Facebook, I mean, it's a bucket with a hole in it.
But, and we had a brief discussion, the chief and Blake and I yesterday about, possibly looking at creating it into a schedule fine. Obviously that still has, court fees and things. But sometimes if it's a schedule violation through the state of Iowa versus city ordinance, maybe we'd use county attorneys instead of a city attorney. Things like that. Yes, we do cite people for dog at large, usually second offense. But we also, as officers, and I've seen the bills for some of these dog at large calls. I don't want the city to lose $200-300, just for $100 court assessed fine. We lose money in the deal.
Great, we
Puts
just
us
would
farther
know the
behind.
dogs are out, not our problem.
Well, we can't do what the old days
No, we're not even gonna talk about
were. We're not doing that.
Well, and I've even had the thought, and it all starts at this level, it seems like anymore, and it would take time, but if you have people that are willing to do it and spend the time, I honestly think this needs to go to the state level, and the state actually needs to have a scheduled violation for animals at large, that if your city adopts an ordinance for that, then our officers can write you a ticket, and it's not a mandatory court appearance.
We can do that. But they could also appear in front of you guys, the city council, as their appeal essentially, in order for their, create their argument for their citation.
It's like nuisances.
Come at me.
Yep.
Just
they
like a
could-
nuisance.
They can do an appearance in front of you guys. We can hash that out. Ted and I were just briefly talking about it yesterday before this.
So you're thinking like $100 first offense.
Oh,
That's kind of what we were
$300
talking
second
about.
offense, whatever.
Yeah, that's where we were trying to figure out what the stepping would be.
We can have to
It's impossible to answer this, but, you have 6 dogs that you're picking up every month.
The same six?
Yeah. Do you have repeat offenders that are really, really repeat offenders?
There's a couple, yeah. Yeah, the one that I think was your situation was, or one of your situations, I think you had a couple.
No, so there is one nice dog that does continually get out, and I just walk him home. He's
The white
great.
one with the
Love
black
him.
eyebrow?
Yep, he's precious. Love him. No, my issue is the ones that try to bite me and my dogs. Is where I draw the line.
And unfortunately, there's not a whole lot other than grabbing those dogs our officers can do prior to that.
Am I allowed to mace a dog if it attacks?
Has it happened? Yes, it has. You have a right to defend yourself and your dog.
Great. That's all I needed.
Um,
I don't like that dog.
Have you ever been maced?
yeah.
Point away from you.
No, I know.
One thing we had discussed, I know we all love creating more ordinances, is there are cities that do pet registration.
And Vinton used to.
Basically, that helps us. It requires collar, requires ID tag that is filed with us.
I'm gonna assume the people who are repeat offenders are probably not going to register their pet.
There's an argument to be made there too. Yep.
Dang it.
All we're trying to look is for efficiency. What we had going worked pretty well. We locate a dog, we take photos of it, we put it on our Facebook.
Yeah.
If you are fine continuing to do that,
Well,
We just need to find a place
you
to
need
park.
to find a place.
Yeah,
That's
that's
exactly
what we're
right.
actually talking
Yep.
about.
Yep. Find a place to put it.
So we would love to rent the old dog pound.
Cause I can see something from the DNR coming down later that you can't have dogs out there, right? Just for some reason.
I believe you're right, Mr. Bear, on that. May not be
Why would
today.
we ask?
Exactly.
Because
No.
they're crawling all over the place right now while you're doing a wastewater treatment plant.
Well, yeah, they're there quite a bit.
Yes.
We have a small shed next to our can shed that we stuck a heater on it or stuck something on it you can use, just depends on how,
Yeah, I mean, it's not. Does that power?
it might. If not, it could very easily be an outfit.
I mean,
with-
it probably has to be on city property for security.
I'm not
whatever.
trying to advocate for our, I mean.
You just want to eat.
But I appreciate
but-
it.
but what
There's
I'm
an
saying-
answer to this problem. It's
What I'm
just-
saying is it
Yeah.
would easily store what you're looking at right now.
Yeah.
It's where we used to keep all the board stuff, and so there's not a whole lot of stuff in there, and it's next to, it's away from everybody. I mean, you can come take a look at it if you want to take a look at it.
Yeah.
We're not doing anything right now.
Give me a call tomorrow.
So I'm going to ask the question just because it needs to be asked. How many of the animals that you have received calls on would be considered vicious animals?
I mean, vicious ones, if we do have some, we usually can't catch them. We don't possess the tools and stuff to catch. We don't have catch poles and stuff. A lot of times they're pretty nice dogs. Sometimes we just chase them home. They kind of know where they're going. But the ones that we do grab and put in our squad cars are generally nice. Handful of times that they actually end up having to go to the Humane Society, but then when they do, that's the owner's price tag. They have to pay whatever it is the Humane Society has to get their dog out. It was just purely we had no. One day they said, "Hey, by the way, you can't bring your dogs out to the wastewater plant anymore." They tearing into that building, and like, oh, well, we have nowhere to take them, and we can't bring them here and sit on them.
Yeah. It's too bad we didn't see that coming. So let's look at
I bet we've
that
done one or two down.
that shed that Matt has so graciously offered to house them. Or another one. We have something else.
We will find a space.
But we need to get it done. So everybody, what do you think, Caps?
Already did. It's like it's solved to me.
I'd rather have one that's already got a little heat and air in it.
They don't need much air this time of year. So yeah.
Be surprised.
Most of the time, we have the dogs less than 2 hours.
Is that right?
Most of the time. Sometimes, if it's late at night, we have them all night. But our guys will periodically go check on them.
So I could just keep them outside.
In fact, yes. This time of year, yes.
I mean, if they're crafty though, and like they already got out of a containment, then they-
Well, and for heat, like we have we have heat that's, pushed into the can shed for us to do stuff in the winter time, so I mean, you could run another line and run
Yeah.
another propane heater, into that shed if you wanted to.
Sounds like a plan.
If you want, in contrast to like buying something brand new, it would probably be, or like renting something and putting good to bad,
Well, it's worth, I think.
At least it's a temporary.
Yes.
What happened to my dog? Oh, it burned up.
Well, generally, if a dog can
thing
be
in our
inside,
stuff in our
even
possession
during the
typically
winter, if
does
they're out of the
that.
wind, they'll be
Catch
fine
on fire.
for 2 hours.
You've had the heater in.
I'll touch base with him in the morning.
Great.
We'll go look at
Here,
it.
Bert. And you're gonna look in to see if we can move that.
Yeah, it's sounds like it's gonna be on the agenda for Monday night, so I can
Great.
make that request for the city.
Sure you don't own it.
Yeah.
Maintain it if we're renting it.
No.
Well, it's actually, a lot of work got done to it by the
Yes, I guess.
VFW.
Oh, it's,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's,
VFW.
They did a good job.
Of work.
Yeah, and the auxiliary cleaned it up. It's,
Yep.
that was ready to roll.
I didn't say you can't buy it, I mean, you personally.
But, there you go.
That's what I need.
Well, it's definitely a county-wide and a statewide issue.
Yeah.
Everybody's having issues with it. And actually, I forwarded it on to you, and I can forward it to the rest of you. I actually got my hands on the Marengo's recent ordinance change to their animal at large issue.
What they do?
Well, I had time to just kind of breeze through it, but basically it said that if any animal is deemed to be vicious, that it is up to the chief of police or his designee to, dispose of that animal.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we'd have to go through county channels because there's
Yeah,
a
well,
whole bunch with that.
No, and I'm not saying that's the route we should go. I'm just saying.
Let's make sure that's clear, that's not
This,
the route we're
yeah,
going.
that's not the route I think we should go, but it's just interesting
It's
to
right up there with
see.
me owning the Celica.
Yeah. And I'm gonna go ahead and throw this out there, I have lots and lots more trouble with cats than dogs. So it's a
Yeah.
whole-
Yeah.
Whole other subject.
The cats run away from me, I'm cool with that. It's when
Cats
things
run
run
through my yard
at
and
me.
poop.
We're still doing
Viciously.
live traps.
Yeah.
People request them,
Mhm.
and then they call and say, "What do I do with this?"
That's part of the deal.
Whatever you want.
You catch it.
Well, they're supposed to go and have it fixed and then return it into the wild.
Oh, that's
The only
not.
thing we
That's
say
that's
is,
supposed
we
to be
want
the
the
plan.
trap back.
No, that
Yeah.
actually
I
sounds
think a
bad.
lot of them
Hopefully clean.
get to go live across the bridge.
I have spent more money than I care to think about on capturing feral cats and getting them spayed or neutered and having their ear clipped
Yeah.
than I care to think about.
It's the 10 that you don't catch that have 300 more.
So many
There is.
babies.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
you see a
that's
cat
like-
that its ears clipped
It's
and it's straight a straight edge,
Really?
I
you
didn't
know
know
that
that.
it's been caught and neutered
Yeah.
or
You
spayed.
can save
That's
yourself
part
a
of
trip
the
to the
National
vet.
Humane Society.
Uh-huh.
Save yourself a trip to the vet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they
why
actually
do you
like
do that?
tattoo dogs. so
Yeah,
they do
the
it.
Why do I do it?
Why have you said you spent a lot of money doing it?
Because we had a lot of feral cats by our house.
Oh, but you're, okay,
Yeah,
you're
we-
saying not through the county, you're yourself personally.
Yeah, personally.
Okay,
You've been doing
I
it?
would have thought you
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about county.
We've done, I don't know, eight cats, I think.
Really?
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that really was.
Ended up with one of them in the house
Little fox
Oh,
out there.
that's
Steve.
that Natalie fell in love with.
Just why I don't do
I
that.
pictured you as more of a disposal.
Yeah.
Maybe when I was like 25 and younger. Now,
I mean,
big softy.
that was the city's actual
No.
plan years ago, was the trap. Go get them fixed and release them back into the same neighborhood. That was, I don't know if that's still technically or.
Is that what John Watson told you?
No, I was
Yeah,
at the
I
meetings.
remember
That was
Yeah.
what we,
That was here.
came up with,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And so if they rented a trap,
Yep.
that was supposed to be.
That was supposed to be.
The
And
only
it was
thing
all,
we asked
Yeah.
was bring the
bring
trap
the-
back
but they-
empty. We
it
didn't.
was all in
They
their
pay
dime.
a
It was.
deposit for the traps, don't they?
I'm still waiting
Yeah,
on
$60.
food
Yeah.
that's
People
sterilized.
asked, what do we do with the cats? We
Oh.
said, that is up to you.
They were,
We want
they
the
were
trap
working on it still.
So 50
On a
bucks
national
to
level, they were working on
bring
it.
it back.
Just so we're clear, I'm not on team harm animals. If one attacks me, I will pepper spray it, just so we are clear. I'm not having, I'm not getting
There's
hit.
the shed.
Oh, yeah, that's perfect. Oh, so,
Oh, that's better yet. You can even put an air conditioner
I was
in
just
that
gonna say,
thing.
we can have
Put a mini
Edwards put
split
a
on
mini
there.
split on the
Yeah.
outside.
Oh, yeah. That was great. One of those.
That's more like a garage.
Problem solved. I guess we don't need to rent the other
Holy
building.
smokes. That's our new permanent, animal shelter.
that's
No.
right.
I
Way
like
more
that.
convenient.
I like
Way
that.
more.
Well, obviously a surplus area for it.
Didn't say it was permanent.
So
It's
don't,
permanent.
Once the smell really gets in there, you're not gonna want it back anyway. So.
Brian works up there, so it can't be any worse than.
Now, perfect. Looks like you found a home.
so you're telling me you don't want it on there?
No, we do.
Yeah, still want it.
Yeah, still find out.
I'll plant the seed.
Yeah.
We missed out on our opportunity.
That thing seems a lot more confusing.
for dog park this year because we didn't talk to Mr. Silo.
Although that building is in the city limits, so.
Cause I want to put it on 2 acres of land that he farmed.
It used to be these city dog pounds.
Yeah.
I remember my dad used to take me in there so I could play with the kittens.
Right south of,
We had cats at home, but you know, it's fun to go play with other cats.
Go around and mace them.
Yeah. I am not
Actually, the
getting
first time I
bit.
was on council.
You don't understand how badly I do not want to get bit by a
This
dog.
was the topic, and that's when we
Then I have to,
discovered
if it
this.
doesn't have vaccinations,
city
then I gotta go.
didn't
for
own
that.
the
I would just
county.
prefer if that didn't occur.
But then the supervisors
I've been
owned
bit by
it,
dogs.
and then it was
My daughter
discovered
got
that
bit.
it was gifted to
Yep,
the
I'm just
Conservation
If I could stop it,
Commission
prior to
back
that.
in the day.
That's gonna be the plan.
Good plan.
Where's the
Well,
building
that's,
at?
what was the old dog catcher's name that used to euthanize dogs?
Yeah.
I was wrong by up the big hill around there, past all the new houses.
Well, Ebert, Fred.
I don't know why it would be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, God, Ebert and Fred,
But are we done? Can I
Say what? They.
switch over to
Been
the
on with town.